In our last presentation, we talked about starting on time, so I better start on time and set a good example. Welcome to TechX training. This is a safe space, all right? What's going to happen today, myself and Mallory Davis, we're going to talk a little bit about some resources for you. We're going to talk about Google Forms to help you out with that, but then we want to field some of your questions. We may not be able to answer your question on the fly. We have a scribe who is taking the questions down, and so there will be some follow-up when this presentation is presented on the Pilot International website. The questions and the answers will be provided as well, okay? So please ask away. We are going to go over some tech tips. We're going to go over QR codes. We're going to go over the Google form and your specific questions today. All right. There we go. Most of the answers I find are on YouTube. So I'm not in a professional environment where I get continuous training right now. And so I go to the web to find answers to my tech questions. And I wanted to share some of my tech gurus with you. One of the tech gurus that I follow, so if you go on YouTube, you would type in Tech Tips 411. This is an educator. She's actually a technology educator. Her name is Jennifer Hall, and she has some of the most user-friendly YouTube tutorials on everyday things that you would need to do. She also has information on presentations and then meeting tips as well. So she is a wonderful resource, and I found her during our COVID times when I had questions about things and how to field things. Another one, and I think he's a genius, he's got to be, his name is Kevin Stratvert. Kevin is an ex-Microsoft program manager, and he covers all things Microsoft Office. So if you have a specific question, you could literally type it in and a tutorial will pop up. He speaks in terms that we can understand, and he is just amazing. So Kevin is a wonderful, wonderful YouTube resource. The other one I found recently is PowerPoint School. Last year, we did a presentation on PowerPoint. I wish I would have found PowerPoint School before I did that presentation. PowerPoint School specializes in animated and advanced PowerPoint tutorials and templates, but he does it in a way that is so easy to follow and learn. So if you're looking for a PowerPoint to wow someone, PowerPoint School is where you should go. Another one that I absolutely love, her name is Layla Garani, and she does so many different things. She works on Excel and PowerPoint and Google Sheets, Microsoft Teams. She also has wonderful accounting and finance information, some best practices that may actually assist our treasurers for our clubs. I love the way her YouTube videos are laid out, and of course she speaks in terms that we can understand. Now don't panic, don't panic. I know TikTok has gotten a bad rep, but there are so many good informational tools on TikTok. So if you're a TikTok user, or you know an anchor, they can look it up for you. There are several, or your grandchildren or your children, all right. They have so many resources, and these are professionals that are making these videos on TikTok. They are short, they are easy to follow, they teach you something and you can move on. One of my favorite things to do is find iPhone camera tips and tricks from them, because I had no idea my iPhone could do all the things it could do. It is unreal.
You're supposed to hold it upside down.
Yes, okay, come on Mallory, come on up. Mallory Davis, everyone.
So one of the iPhone tricks that they have for taking pictures is you're actually supposed to turn your camera upside down and not hold your phone this way, but this way where the camera's at the bottom. so that you get a better angle, and then also you're supposed to go lower.
Yes.
And that helps get a better frame and picture.
Yes.
That's
Yes, so if you want to dabble in the TikTok world, there is good information out there. 2 years ago, I would have never suggested that any of us jump on TikTok, but I have found useful information that is very easy to follow on it. All right, QR codes. We talked a little bit last year about QR codes, and they're not going away. They are not going away. They have made a comeback, and they're not going away. QR means quick response code. They're an easy, fast way to get information from the palm of your hand. And if you want to if you have a personal device, either an iPad or a phone with you, open up your camera. And I'll give you the slide that you need for that. There we go. Open up your camera, and you can hover over our green QR code, and let's see where it takes us. Somebody tell us. Yep. Did you get a pop-up when you hovered over this? Yep, click on it. Where did it take you?
You don't take the picture.
You don't take a picture, you just click the link. All right, so our instructions are open your camera, hover over the code, and then press the pop-up to access. You don't have to take a picture of it, you just press the pop-up. And we have some helpers that are helping. Oh, did it say not available? Oh, well, hold tight. It should have taken you to the Pilot International website, but we're actually doing some work on the website today, and so they're getting it done for us right now during this presentation, but this should have taken you to the no, that's a good thing, it's getting done. The Pilot International website is where that should have taken you. All right, if you want to create your own QR code, there are several resources for that. My favorite is www.qr.code-generator.com. So qrgenerator.com is where you can go for this. There is a web-based where you can create QR codes for free. There is an app through QR Generator that you can create your own QR codes for free. There's also something called QR Bot and QR Reader for iPhone and Android. The QR Generator will walk you step by step to make your own QR code. And I'm so sorry mine didn't work, but you might have a surprise soon, so that's good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it over to Mallory, who's the real expert here, and she's gonna tell you about some tricks.
Thank you all. And so we are going to talk about some tech tricks. So my biggest thing is your smartphone is incredible. I know that smartphones are scary, but you hold a computer in the palm of your hand. And you need to leverage that. You have access to information. I have several people in my club that make fun of me because they ask a question, people don't know the answer, and the first thing I do is pull out my phone and I put it into Google. Because you have the option. You do not have to go to the library and go to and go find the encyclopedias anymore. We have the information handy. I do recommend, though, always just check your sources because sometimes they're not accurate. But you have that. But there's other things that your smartphone does. How many of you have lost your room key in the bottom of your purse this week? And you've spent an hour trying to dig it out. Well, guess what? There are apps there is a Hyatt app. If you are a Hyatt member, they literally have an app, and you can open the app, and you can click the button, and it will unlock your door while you're standing there from your phone. It makes it easy. Most of your major hotel chains, Marriott, Hilton, all of those, they are going to this technology. So now you don't need to find that key as long as you have your phone. And I promise you, you probably always have your phone. Other things that you also can do, airlines, having your boarding pass right there on your phone, not having to try and find it. It's printed, where is all of that? Also, like for American Airlines in the app, it also tracks your bags and it tells you where your bags are. So if they end up in Denver and you're supposed to be going to Florida, you at least know they're in Denver. You can't get them back. You can't do anything about it, but you can track your bags. You can make sure that, hey, I have a 30-minute layover in Charlotte coming up on Sunday. I don't think my bags are going to make it. So that way I can track when my bags finally get to Tallahassee. The other thing, so if you went to Niagara Falls and you had your passport, if you went over to Canada, you had to use their app. Canada requires you to use an app to get into their country. People are moving forward with that. In the Arrive Can app, I can tell you right now I used it. All I had to do, I took a picture of my passport, I created an account, took a picture of my passport, took a picture of my vaccination card because they require it, put my information in on when I'd be arriving in Canada, and when I got to the border, he scanned my passports and he said, what time are you going back? I said, I gotta make the bus at 2:45, and he said, enjoy Canada, because all of my information was already loaded and they had all of that. So things are moving forward with apps. It is a reality. So being more comfortable with it. And it makes travel a lot easier, I promise. The other things we have, digital wallet. So show of hands, how many people use their digital wallet on their phone? Okay, so for those that don't know what a digital wallet is, if you are an iPhone person, it is automatically on your phone and it's called Apple Wallet. And inside of that, for anybody in Arizona, you already can add your driver's license into that digital wallet. For my Georgia friends, it's coming for you next. That means you don't have to you can have it on your phone, so you always have your driver's license with you. And they are actively working on every state moving forward to that as well. And then Hawaii, Mississippi, and Ohio are also on the list to get it pretty quickly, I think within the rest of this year. So you have that, you have it in the palm of your hand. And maybe you don't feel comfortable putting your credit card information in there, that is fine. But guess what? Where's your Sam's Card membership? How do you keep track of your Hilton and your Marriott and all the different apps and all the different rewards programs you're a part of? You can add that into your Apple Wallet. I use that for my movie tickets, so that way I don't have to keep track of the little piece of paper when I get a movie ticket. There are so many different things that you can put inside your Apple Wallet. Now, for our Android people, you have two options. You do have to pick it, and have Google Wallet or Samsung Wallet, same concept. You also see, you'll see the little icon, it's got the 3 little bars on it when you're checking out places. For those places they accept, you can hold your iPhone up or your smartphone up, and you can pay with that if you have a credit card added in there as well. Do you have something for Apple Wallet? So just know there are a lot of features. I use it for my Sam's Club membership because then I don't have to find my Sam's card, I just pull it up. I will tell you I can probably, because I can't keep track of all the rewards programs, but if you have it on there, I have my Walgreens card, all of those. Takes away that huge keychain that you probably keep. It saves you money. Saves you money as well. All right, show of hands, who has heard of a Google form before? All right. So for those of you that don't know, a Google form is a product provided by Google. It is completely free, and it allows you to create surveys and templates. So for all of our anchors that were taking pictures on the first day, those pictures, they were uploading into a Google form so that all the pictures went to one place. So for a Google form, I'm going to show you, and you'll have this PowerPoint afterwards, so you'll have these step-by-step instructions. But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open your web browser. So whether you're a Google Chrome fan, which I highly recommend, Internet Explorer is dying, please don't use it. And then you do need to have a Google account. Google accounts are free, you can create one. I suggest, if you make something that you can remember, my personal one is mdavis.pilot@gmail.com, so that way I have a pilot-focused one. From there, you're going to see in the top corner there is an icon next to your picture. It's in the top right corner, and it drops down and it shows you all of the Google options that you have available to you. Now you have to scroll all the way to the bottom, and you're going to find the Forms icon. It is a purple icon, and that is where you're going to find Google Forms. Once you click on that, it will take you to the Google Forms page, where you're going to select a blank document. So it literally has a giant plus sign. It says blank. You click on it. Google Drive is part of the Google product, but your Google form can save into your Google Drive, but it is separate. So you'll find all of the information housed in the same place. But if you have a Google Drive, you can attach your forms in there. Other question. And then you're going to start building. So when you're starting to build, you are going to answer specific questions. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to give it a title. So what is the name of your form? This is what everyone's going to see, so please make sure it's not like Google Form 5, because that's not going to be very helpful for people that are taking your survey. The next thing you are going to do is you're going to create your first question. What do you want to ask somebody? I will tell you, I actually created a Google form as an option for our district survey. So that way people could do the survey throughout the weekend on their phone, as opposed to having to physically write it. I'm going to tell you right now, it was really nice not having to read some people's handwriting. Because you know your handwriting and you know who I'm talking about. The next thing you're going to do is decide what type of question. So you can choose, is this going to be a multiple choice question where they're picking from different options? Is it a drop down? Is it a free form? So a free form, you'll see short and long answer. Do you want them to give you their first and last name? Or are you wanting something like, hey, please write a sentence or a paragraph. I want your opinion on how the Saturday workshop was. And you leave it open and you give them that paragraph option. So you have, and for the anchors, for instance, theirs is a Dropbox. You can actually add it to there so that people can drop a form in there for you. So maybe you want to collect information. Someone can drop their information in there, a form that you're requiring from them. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to create your answers. So if you are giving them a multiple choice or a drop down, well, you got to give them options on what they're going to pick from. So you're going to create those answers. And then the next thing, is it a required question? Do they have to answer this question? Or is it something that you just want to know, but if they don't answer it, it's okay? Maybe you don't need their name, but you do want to know what district they're from, that type of thing. And then it gives you the option to add your next question. It's literally a plus sign, and you can have one question on your survey, you could have 30 questions on your survey. What information do you want to gather? You can do a quick, we did one of these for the Florida district when we were looking at, should we hold a convention? Because we're still in the pandemic. Will people come? So we sent one of these out to our member base to ask them, if we held convention, would you come? We also asked them, had you been to convention before? Because I'll be honest, if you've never been to convention before, then maybe COVID didn't determine whether you were coming to convention this time. But we want our DEC use that to make that decision of whether we should hold convention or not. And then you can customize. So there are options. You can change the color, you can add a picture, like a header at the top. There's a bunch of different pieces that you can choose. You can choose a couple different font options. So do you want the standard? Do you want to make it swirly or fun? And then the biggest thing is sharing it. So there are multiple ways to share it. So you're able to create a link. You are able to email it out directly to people. You can send it on Facebook, LinkedIn. There's a lot of different ways to do that. Or you can take that long website address and you can make a QR code. And then you put that QR code on the screen so that everybody opens their phones right now. I better work.
Sorry.
And they're really,
Well, of course hers works.
I was gonna say, it should take you somewhere. The TechX survey. So now you can give me opinions and feedback. And you'll notice the questions. Then I can figure out how many people from the Midwest district came, how many people from Texas were here, how many of my Florida pilots showed up to support me. So we've got questions. Did you have anything that you want covered in the future? It gives you those opportunities to ask questions. Oh, if you'll put it back up so I think some people are still trying to grab it. But it gives you those opportunities to get feedback. Because the way to make things better is to get people's opinions and responses. Because you may not have wanted to learn about Google Forms, and now you can tell me.
One of the components that we just talked about in President and President-elect training was communication and how your club may want to communicate. So we've given you a tool. You can send a Google Forms survey to your club to see how they want to communicate. If they don't have email, you'll need to call them, but this is a nice way to get some feedback from members in your district. So. Oh. I don't have that on. We have a mic. Can you? Jane, can you come up to the mic, just so everyone can hear your question?
Hello?
Yes?
You want to share maybe a few comments about what the outcome looks like for after a survey?
Yeah. Do you want him to back up to the other slide so you can show the response?
Well, so it's a picture. I don't have responses yet because people haven't taken the survey. Oh, we have. Can you answer some questions? Let me see if I can get them to actually pull up.
Hold on, we'll show. I'm going to back it up a bit. So what Jane is talking about is you see that there's an underline under the first heading there, and you have the choice of, there's several things there, and responses, I believe, is the second one. And so when we receive a response, it'll show us how many responses we have, and then you can click on the second, they're doing something, but you can see the results of your survey that way. So I think they're going to show us the survey and show us how you do that. Or while they're doing that, we're really here to answer your tech questions. So if you have a tech question, please feel free to come up to the mic, ask the question. We're happy to get an answer for you on that. If you have a suggestion, yes.
Hey, Stephanie Batten, Pilot Club of Jackson County. I don't have a question. I simply have a suggestion. So the reason your QR code doesn't work is because you got it from a free QR code generator online. You can only access the free QR code so many times before they charge you for it and disable it. So yours has been disabled because the pilot website is still working. I have found that if you use Canva, you can use Google Sheets, you can use Apple Pages. All of those make a free QR code that never ends. And you can transfer that to a photo or a document on your phone, your computer, and then insert that into any form of tech that you need.
Yes, as we were doing that, you guys clicked on it, and I got a message from the QR generator telling me that. So we can adjust that slide and find one that is free for you. It didn't tell me how many clicks was on that one, but thank you for that insight. Anything else? Yes, come on up.
I successfully used the QR code, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes, good.
And I submitted my email. I do have a question. If you don't have a QR code and you want to just access a survey online, that is Google,
Yes.
I have had difficulty because I don't have a Google account. So how do you access a Google form online if you don't? Do you have to create a Google account in order to do that?
I would recommend you having an email address that is a Gmail-based address because it is easier. As far as...
I am really opposed to Gmail.
Okay. There are several ways. So the person who creates the form can actually put in the email addresses that have access to it as well, so they can put in a distribution list to it. But that one we might have to get back to you on to see if there's a roundabout way to do that without a Gmail address.
Right.
That's a great question. Where did you get
Also,
that? Thanks.
one comment. You talked about putting your airline tickets in wallet. I had a friend to give me a recommendation that I think everyone can use, and that is when you do get the online airline tickets, to do a snapshot so that they are in your photos, because the Wi-Fi at the hotel, at the airlines is somewhat sketchy. So she had to physically go outside in order to get Wi-Fi.
For her wallet?
Yes.
Okay.
And so she took a snapshot of it, and it did scan it.
You can actually save it to your wallet where I don't believe you need to use Wi-Fi. Is that correct? Yeah.
Well, anyway, she was not able to use it.
Sure.
But she did have it in photos, and so it scanned from there.
Right.
So just as an
Sure.
FYI.
Yes, absolutely.
And then the other comment, you showed the QR code, but could you give us more reasons and examples of how we could use the QR code? I
Yeah,
see
for
that it
sure.
works great for a survey, but perhaps other uses for our
Yeah.
clubs?
That's a wonderful question. So marketing materials, if you're at an event and maybe you have some type of giveaway, some type of marketing material, you can't fit it all. You have to realize we live in an age where people are only going to read the first 250 words of what you give them, and then they are now checked out. So the QR code could lead them to some other information where they have more time to take a look at it. So you could use it on any of your print work. Texas district, I can't see anybody, the lights are in my eyes. The Texas district at their anchor convention this year, they used the QR code for almost everything, so the kids could just hover on it and they could get their information. They had at their district convention, they had their schedule, their budget. They saved a lot on printing costs by doing that. So the QR code that they had led them to a link to their website where all of the information was available. I've also seen QR codes where it's just a fun message. It's a welcome message, or, thank you for being here. It's some kind of thank you message as well. Yeah. Barb?
We use it, we have a golf tournament, and we put the QR code on the form, and they can go right online and register and pay right online, and it's less paper, and everybody loves it. And we do it with those that did our vacation raffle last year, and we're doing it again, QR code.
Yeah, we didn't win, so I don't know what happened there.
Julie Fallon
Nick
won.
didn't win. You better go talk to him. He's
Julie
here now.
Fallon won.
Oh, okay, that's all right. Kelly, can you speak to what you did for your district? I can't see, so.
No,
Thanks.
you said everything that we needed to say, but I did, Holly helped me with QR codes in the beginning, but I have found that if you use Microsoft Edge as your web browser, there's a neat little button right up in the browser itself that will automatically generate a QR code for you right there from Microsoft Edge.
And I apologize, I was trying to show you a fancy QR code. I was getting, I wanted it to look great for you. So thank you for pointing out that you can only do things sometimes a few times. Microsoft Edge, and then there's another one. We'll put that on the follow-up for the answers as well. And they are free, and I don't think there's any type of limit. Yes? Yeah. Yes, and so that's where Connie was saying a lot of restaurants have used it for their menu. That's where we saw the comeback of QR codes. They couldn't hand us menus anymore. And so I feel like that was kind of the start of some of the QR code comeback, and it's here to stay. How you doing, Mallory? I can't see her either. What other questions do you have? Do you have a specific question on a device that you might have? Mallory can answer it for you probably. We're happy to help with that. Are you ready? Oh, yeah, she's good. Okay. Okay. So she's almost ready. But we see some of her responses are coming in here. And so like we were talking about, we have questions and then responses has the green bar under it. And we have 43 already, and then settings. And so what we're looking at is a graph of the districts, the answer to her first question, then her second question. I used a Google form recently. My daughter's in a competition cheer team, and we have to fundraise all year long. And so we used a Google form for an Easter event that we did. It was wonderful. She could actually look at the responses. She had several parameters she had to look at, and she was able to print off the responses, which is wonderful, and make her own little notes. So, and Ellie is 9 years old, so very easy to use. Are you coming back? Like I said, this is a safe place. I don't want to give you any more false information. Mary, what question do you have?
It's just a suggestion.
Yes.
And maybe after you research if everyone can do it if they don't have a Google account. But our secretary had problems when she was trying to fill out the information about the membership this year that was sent. So maybe if you guys standardize and if everybody, but if there's a problem with Google, that may not be the solution, but that might help.
And what information that came out specifically?
It was,
just so-
when you have to, at the end of the year,
Yes.
your club members, I think it was a PDF form, and she could not fill it out.
So it was a form that might not have been editable, or it wasn't working? Okay,
It wasn't editable.
was not
but-
editable.
And it came from Pilot.
Okay,
So I'm
give us
just-
the name of the form so we can fix that for you. It was the
Invoice.
invoice?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So if Google is so much easier, maybe that's the way to go, and then you know that you can always,
Sure. That's a great suggestion. We'll take a look at how those came out this year. All right, Mallory's back, thank God. Oh, come here, you probably can answer it better than I can.
I was just going to mention, we use RedCap for work, and it's secure. So if you're wanting to do online surveys and have addresses and personal information, RedCap is secure. But there is some agreements, like for a nonprofit, it is free, but the nonprofit has to agree to do all this. It's with Vanderbilt University. So it's just another way to do online surveys and have secure information, export, and do all the things that you can do with Google. I just wasn't sure with Google sometimes if it's as secure as it needs to be if you're wanting that personal information.
That's true. And that was RedCap,
Yep.
one word?
REDCAP.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So I apologize. I forgot my password, so I had to reset that. It happens to all of us because you get too many passwords. At least I do. So with your Google form, I know you guys wanted to see what it looks like. And this will update. So if somebody was to take the survey right this moment, that information will update. And you can also close your survey as well. So at the end of this, if I want to close it so that nobody can take it again, then you can lock in your information. So if you have a timeline or a deadline, for instance, registration forms, registration closes on this date, then after that date, you can actually set it up so the form won't work anymore and won't accept new information. But if you're looking at this screen, so I just did quick questions, so we can see kind of who's here. And you can change the setting. Right now it shows percentages, but if you hover over the different colors, it'll actually tell you exactly how many people are in that. So for the Midwest, we had 7 people, and then they made up 16.3% of the group that took the survey. But you can see a lot of those pieces of information. It helps, like with our district surveys, you can break it down, how many people like things. So I'm really excited. You guys all found something at least helpful in this workshop. But at the same time, if you didn't, this is an anonymous survey. I don't know who took what survey. So if you didn't like it, then I'd have a number there. But it's helpful. And then also when it comes to the questions, because you can put whatever information you want in there. I don't know who said that, but you want more tech trips. You want to go slower for old people. Seasoned. I believe the word is seasoned. We got to work on updating our vocab. Facebook ins and outs, PowerPoint, doing minutes on an iPhone. Oh, that sounds challenging. But things like that. So, you take all this information back. This is great information that now we have that. So we can work on building better workshops or workshops that you're wanting and looking for. So that's really helpful information. So there is an advantage to this. You can set it up where you actually get people's information. I did not want your information, so I didn't set it up that way. Because people are more honest when they don't, it's an anonymous survey. Let's be honest, some of us know the handwriting of certain pilots, so when you're reading the survey, you're like, well, I know who this one is. But are there any questions about how the information presents itself for? It's an information taking, so whether it's some sort of survey, so whether you're gaining information, you could do membership forms through it, you can do registrations, but it is some sort of survey feedback or gathering information. Honestly, if Pilot International wanted to gain instead of email this to Claire Wells, here's the form, drop your documents into the form, you could gather that information that way as well. So it's kind of useful in those areas. You could get it to gain the information from your club, and then you can actually break it down. So if you want everybody's emails, you can pull just the email section, and you would have everyone's emails. You can also download this into an Excel format. So you would be able to see, depending on how you've set it up, you could actually see person's name, phone number, email address, and you could create a directory out of it. Yeah. Other questions?
I have a comment. Looking at some of the questions here, they can actually be answered by some of those YouTube gurus. I see Canva was listed here. Michelle and I do most of the Canva media that you've seen for Pilot International. We do. We have a pro account.
It's free for nonprofits.
We just learned that. We do. And so, but there are several of those YouTube gurus that go over a lot of Canva material. And again, they're easy to follow. So please check some of those out. But these are some great ideas. We will follow up on questions. We will also give some suggestions for these questions that you've asked us. And these are great ideas for workshops in the future. So thank you for participating. You guys are so quick. I also wanted to know, while she was talking, I filled out the survey and it does update in real time. So now the Midwest District is up to 18-point-something%. So it does update in real time. Any other questions at this point? Did anything else pop into your mind? Yes? All right, come on up, come on up.
Do you have a sign-up sheet for this today?
I don't, it's going to be on the website, but I can email it to you, Sharon.
All right, thank you.
If you want it emailed, you're going to have to see Claire. She's my scribe.
Could you show how to turn the survey into a QR code?
How to turn, yeah, sure.
Here she goes. Okay, so she's clicking on the 3 dots. No, she's not. She's going to settings. Oh, she's fast, you guys. She's going to send. She's clicking on that looks like a paperclip link. Copy. She has gone to QR code generator. This is where I did the fancy one, so this one would be limited if you don't pay for it. She's pasting her link. You need to download it. She clicked on free sign up.
Hello? Ah, you can hear me now. So you do have to create an account. With that, you can also sign up with your Google account as well. And that will allow you to, what you're doing is you're just downloading that image. So let me go back, I apologize. You are downloading this QR image right here. That's literally all you're doing. And then once you have it, it downloads as a, so you can pick when it's doing it as a JPEG file. So it's a picture file. And you can add that. That's actually the survey image that I did. That is, I literally put it into my PowerPoint presentation using it that way. They do have some different options if you want to make it fun. You can add little frames and that type of thing as well. But that's all you have to do to create a QR code. You're literally copying the website you want to put in. And it's because you don't want to ask somebody to try and type this. The FAL, we're all going to mess it up, I promise you. So that's why that's why QR codes were created, is that it's a fast, simple way for you to grab the information and get to the website. That's why you see it for the menus and different things at restaurants. It really came out during the pandemic in a paperless digital format. Does that answer your question?
Now, I am a Mac user, so if you are an Apple product user, we can download an app to our Macs and use it. We don't have to go through the web to create it. We can go straight to an app to create our QR codes. So different avenues there. From your iPhone, yes, you can download an app to iPhone and Android phones, and you can do create a QR code that way. And that was the QR bot, and then the one that I use is, I think it's QR bot. And that one's free, but I don't know if it's limited, so we'll have to check on that for you and follow up. Good questions. Any other questions for Mallory and I at this point? All right. Just to kind of take the temperature, if we were to create a Canva workshop, how many of you would attend that? Okay, so we need some help with design. Okay,
So I'm going to jump in for Canva. As we've learned recently, if you are a 501c3, you can get the full Canva Pro for free. So my Pilot Club of Tallahassee has a free Canva. I actually created my business card here in Canva. You can upload your own images. They have templates and formats. You can make presentations. You can make videos. There is a lot that you can do in here. For when I talked about our district survey, so this is actually my Florida district summary that I provided to our DAC. How many people attended? How many were first-timers? Literally went through, these are the questions, some of the questions that were asked. Did people feel like it was worthwhile? And then it goes into all the comments as well. But I took it and made it into a Canva image. I downloaded this as a PDF, provided it to our district. So you can make a lot of different things inside of here.
Fantastic. And when we say Canva Pro, there is a free Canva that you can use, but it is limited. And so Canva Pro includes all of the images, all of the templates, and some extra things. So, any other questions at this point? Come on back up, Mallory. Let's give Mallory a round of applause. She did a wonderful job. This was kind of thrown at her at the last minute, you know, those other duties as assigned that come up. So I'm grateful that she helped us with this and answered questions. I think you got a happy that has my business card in it. Okay. I'll probably ask Mallory if you ask me a question just in case. So any questions that come through, Mallory will be helping with that as well. So thank you so much. And if you think of something throughout the rest of the convention, after you go home, if your club members have questions, please reach out to us. We're happy to help you. Thank you for attending today.
I have a small stack of business cards, very small.
Yes. All right.
And I do have a couple business cards down here. They're limited, but if you need my information.
And Claire, raise your hand one more time.
And then Claire has been down here. She is taking, if you want an emailed copy, we will have this on the site as well. I'll probably add some more slides that have the information about what it looks like with the survey results in there, so you guys can see that information as well.
Thank you.
We do not have handouts, but we will have the updated slideshow on the website.
We intentionally did not do a handout because we want to answer your questions first and then update our presentation for you, but great question.
Yes.